The college basketball experience Big East Conference preview for 2024 and 25 episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up, and when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN. You get a 50% deposit bonus all the way up to $1,000. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Start crushing college football and NFL with Rhythm. Get your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. And remember, as always, folks, to let it ride.
This is Martin Cleese, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Basketball experience Big East Conference preview for 2024-25. Yes, it is arguably my favorite conference. Just wish they would invest in football, but I mean, other than that, love the college hoops played in this conference, the home environments, and just everything. They're perfect. With the exception of the football thing, but we're working on that. All right. I've been tweeting out shit for decades. All right. Trying to get, Seton Hall to get that program started back up, but we'll talk all about it, folks. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, that's fair. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, AKA Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
YouTube.com/the college experience. Get on over there. Hit that like and subscribe button. iTunes, Spotify, whatever. Give us a 5-star review if you haven't already. The Big East is awesome. I mean, been a huge fan pretty much my entire life. So even in the makeshift, even when they had Boise State in the Big East for like a week one time before their football conference folded. But everything Big East is great to me. College basketball is so great to me. Shout out to Ryan Hasty. It is the best. We love college hoops here. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former video coordinator for Hall of Fame coach Bob Huggins and Frank Martin. He is the host of the Big 12 College Experience, the host of the Ryan and Rush Show. You hear him on the College Football Experience as well. Give it up for Ryan McIntyre, a.k.a. Money Line Mac. How are you, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Yeah, I love the Big East. You know what I love about the Big East, too, is you have 11 teams, which means you get a true round-robin regular season champ. Everybody plays everybody, home and home. Absolute best with these environments. Coaches, tradition, program. Love the Big East.
Mac tonight. Come on, make it Mac tonight.
Yes, make it a Mac tonight, a Dundee Mac. And this guy, give it up for third man in the booth. He's always on the boards, behind the scenes, listening, typing up shit. All right. He knows Morse code. All right. Look, this guy is the host of the College Baseball Experience and one of the hosts right here on the College Basketball Experience. Give it up for the great Noah Bieniek. How are you, brother?
What's going on, guys? Yeah, Big East is actually my favorite basketball conference. That's not like one of the conferences that my teams play in. And because of reasons why Colby might not truly love the Big East is why I truly love the Big East. These are basketball first programs. And that's what makes it fun for me is like, this is
every university
just live, breathe, and die for each and every year.
Every university should have a football, basketball, and baseball team.
All right. Title IX.
Yeah. Look, Bobby Hurley's going to be looking for Title IX soon.
True.
But look, I don't give a shit. Have a football program. All right. Have a football program. Georgetown can do it. All right. And we still, and there's a few of them in there that have it. Baseball, we got to work on that. All those sports should be being played. I mean, how you got a fucking ping pong team and stuff. I mean, come on, what are we talking about here? But anyway, shout out to the Big East. We love the Big East.
I went back and listened to last year's preview. Really, really interesting. Actually, probably my favorite one that we did last year. Because we were all over the place with some of these predictions. Mac predicted the regular season champ correctly, UConn. Colby was very, very high on St. John's in the preseason. And then I had Marquette. Mac then predicted St. John's to win the tournament. UConn did. Both Colby and I took Villanova. And this needs clarification. Villanova last year on paper was the best roster. We questioned the coaching and it reared its ugly head, those kind of issues. Because we were all high on Villanova last year, and it inspired a bet between Mac and I against Colby that the St. John's, whether or not they would finish in the top 4 of this conference.
I remember this.
I got hosed on a couple big games. Yeah.
The 3 teams that we felt confident in were UConn, Creighton, Marquette, and both Mac and I included Villanova. I put St. John's 6th because I had Seton Hall 5th. You know who saved Mac and I in this bet because St. John's finished 5th? Seton Hall. Yes, they were my sleeper. Seton Hall comes through. Colby's sleeper was St. John's. Honestly, that probably hit. They finished in 5th. Mac's sleeper was Butler. Not great there, but he predicted a bust in Providence, which was not bad, not great. And both Colby and I kind of were chalky in this conference last year. Our busts were Marquette and UConn. So not great.
That's not chalky.
We went on expectation. So
that's
like
ballsy. That's
Marquette
ballsy to say, hey, you know what? UConn's going to suck ass.
Marquette
swept 7-3 later and another natty. They did not.
So Marquette swept the Big East 2 years ago. So then Colby had them, I think, 3rd or 4th, and predicted them not to sweep, and we gave that to him. And then I took UConn 4th, and you guys gave that to me, and both of us pretty much fell flat on our face. So
I still think the St. John's way. We got hosed on a couple big games. Perfect opportunity to steal that spot, and it didn't happen. But you know what? They did steal. They stole Seton Hall's best player. We'll talk about that.
We will.
Because, clearly something was clearly he must have saw something there, or a bag of cash might have magically appeared from Queens to Newark. A little delivery, a little Uber Eats. Let's get into it because this conference is awesome. But obviously, my prediction: I will not fade UConn this year. I'll tell you that.
I'm not going to either.
just totally out on that because they look like the greatest fucking team. They're like the John Wooden fucking UCLA teams. Anyway, let's jump right into it because team number 1. Actually, before I get to team number 1, what are we doing here, folks? All right. I was just saying every team should have a football program, and I feel strongly about that, and baseball and basketball. But they say money is an issue. Well, I can tell you, I would love to see all those teams start up their football programs and all the fans donate money because I think football, would help generate more, money for each institution. But also I think it's just great because it's an amazing sport. But my point is asking people for money is always difficult, right? Even if they're your former, students and whatnot, former players. So one of the things I want to talk about right now is we are asking you, the loyal SGPN listener, our college basketball experience listener, we're asking you for money, but not for us. We're asking you to help out people. I can tell you, helping out people, I think is one of the, if you're ever feeling shitty in life, to me, helping out people can really make a difference. I can recall a time that I was unemployed and I was down on my luck, and I just went to a homeless shelter and started working there for free. And you'd be amazed about what a difference it can make on the way you think about life. You know what I mean? The way you come out of that. So recently, the Appalachians were hit by a terrible hurricane, Hurricane Helene. And I know we have another hurricane pending right now. Like, it seems like Florida's going to get hit by a hurricane, I think. But the devastation from Helene is still catastrophic, folks. The people in Western North Carolina need our help. SGPN is teaming up with a local charity, mountainprojects.org. And we did our due diligence on this, because how many times you see something, and I've even felt for this, where you give some money to somebody, you think you're doing a good thing, and you find out 5 years later that the CEO was pocketing 70% of the money. And meanwhile, he's at fucking Peter Luger's just ordering a ribeye steak while your ass is sitting there waiting for your Papa John to be delivered, right? That happens all the time. So we did our due diligence here. Mountainprojects.org. They have the best interest of helping people, and they're not going to pocket your money. So please help give back. The biggest donation will get a guest spot on our college football pick show. Also a ton of SGPN gear. So please, if you can, go to mountainprojects.org, hit the flood support, and let's help some people out today, because trust me. And look, even if you can't, let's say, I can't get on the show. I can't donate whatever the biggest amount would be. Well, okay, $5, $10, whatever you got. If you can do that, would be, how many times do we have someone say, I'd love to buy you a beer. Well, I would trade that in, and I would buy you a beer that whoever the listener is, whenever we'd meet up, I would buy you that beer if you would donate just $5 to help in making a difference in these people's lives right now, because their houses have been destroyed. Their jobs have been destroyed. Some of these people have lost family members, pets, all this stuff. They're starting from scratch, and we got to do better. We as Americans got to help. These are our people, man. If this was us in the role reversed, I would hope that some people would be, doing some efforts to try to help us. So this is our responsibility. This is our thing. This is, like, to me, it's more important than fucking voting. You know what I mean? Like, let's go out there and help our fucking people. So please, if you can, get on over there, mountainprojects.org, hit the flood support button, and let it ride, people. All right, we are back, and let's jump into this, because hey, 2 years ago they were like a surprise team of mine that ate shit. I think I've had a really hard time in the Big East the past couple of years. I know you just listened to last year. I'm gonna be honest. I think I was shitty the year before too, because I was like, Butler's a sleeper. They're a sleeper. They got Thad Matta. Well, sometimes it takes 3 years, and maybe this is the year, because they went out and brought in Colby King from Tulane, Patrick McCaffrey. How long has he been in college?
Forever.
I feel like
this is like his 6th year, I think.
He played with Kevin Gamble back in the day. Jamie Kaiser coming in from Maryland. They bring in those three. They also got a couple 3-star recruits. Colt Langdon. I'm just praying he's the son of Trajan. But they did lose some guys. Posh Alexander. Surprise, surprise. He's in the portal. And I like Posh, but he heads out to the Dayton Flyers. DJ Davis heads out to the Washington Huskies. Connor Turnbull, no relation to Ronaldo, heads out to the Evansville Purple Aces. And they also lost one to the D2 ranks. They also lost Jalen Thomas, the former Georgia State Panther. He's out of eligibility. Same with John Michael Malloy. So they took some hits. They return Pierre Brooks, the former, UC Irvine, I believe, if memory serves me correct. They also return Jamal Telfort, and they bring back a couple other guys like Landon Moore, who played about 16 minutes a game for them, and Andre Screen, who played 13 minutes a game for them a season ago. They also Finley Bizjack. He entered the portal, but that one call from Thad Matta brought him back home. So he did not actually leave. I mean, I'd sell me on these 3 guards here, because I feel like they might have something with King, Pierre Brooks, and Telfort. I still worry about athleticism. but let me just trust Thad Matta that this is his best year yet at Butler. Mac, your thoughts?
Going down that well.
Yeah,
again.
they're old. I mean, they're super old. I mean, Brooks is senior. Telford, who's been in college forever. McCaffrey, you mentioned, he's been in college since the Obama administration, and Screen as well in his 5th year. So I think Butler, maybe that fringe middle of the pack bubble team. They did take a step last year from 6 wins in the Big East to 9 wins in the Big East. I think that this is going to be Thad's best team. I just think the continuity is going to be the best. They are, I think, 2nd or 3rd in returning production among the Big East teams. So yeah, in a big year for Thad Matta at Butler, I think they're middle of the pack.
Got him dancing?
Maybe. Stay tuned. But I think they're a bubble team. I think that's a fair assessment because I think the floor, and we're going to talk about it, is going to be up in the Big East compared to last year.
Yeah. I think it's his best team yet too. Seems like Bieniek is hating on that though. Noah, your thoughts on these Butler Bulldogs?
Look, I still think the floor is the floor. Sure, the bottom teams did get better, I want to say, but I still think they're going to be bottom feeders. And the nice way of putting it for 2 of these teams, we'll talk about the other one. Actually, all 3 of them are top half of the alphabetical order that we're doing this show. Butler's like a scratch-off ticket to me. You've got a lot of old guys, a lot of experienced players on this team. And if you're looking at experience, they're one of the 3 most experienced teams entering the preseason here. Mm-hmm. And they return over 50% of their minutes from a season ago, which is one of the most in the conference as well. Those are 2 positives here. Colby King is interesting from Tulane because he's got plenty of speed and he can shoot it. I don't think he's a great point guard, and that's one thing that this team does lack is like none of these guys are true point guards with Pierre Brooks and Jameel Telford, but this team can shoot. And I'm going to say it with one of the other teams. Like if you've got shooters, if you've got experience, it's a lottery ticket team, and scratch it off. 75% of them are losers, but the other 25% they could be fun. So
he just called half of Butler's. He called 75% of Butler's team losers. All right,
give me the 25, baby. Let's go Butler.
Let's go Bulldogs.
Thad's teams have been really good in year 3 at his stops at Xavier and Ohio State. So we'll see if that trend and trajectory can continue here.
Let's go.
Good point.
Let's go. I'm going to be rooting for him. Hinkle Fieldhouse. Nothing like catching a game at Hinkle Fieldhouse. If you haven't been, you got to go, folks.
Clarkstown Butler. Clark Townsend's got Butler 11-9, 10-10.
That's about right.
Yeah.
10-10, 11-9. They're going to be on the bubble.
Clark knows a thing or two about ball, you know. Let's go. Look, folks, before I get to the next team, which is a team that happens to be very successful in football, first and then basketball.
Good point.
I want to tell you folks that first, thanks for tuning in to the College Basketball Experience. If you can head over to Spotify and give us a 5-star rating, we'd certainly appreciate it. Only you can help prevent corporate gambling from taking over, people. But we're also brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Underdog Pick'em has one of the biggest menus for all of sports: NFL, college football, CFL, MLB, MMA, WNBA, NASCAR, and much, much more. And their lobby is jam-packed with profit boost. You can now use specials and boost on all flex entries as well. So what are you doing? Sign up. And when you do, sign up with the promo code TCESGPN to claim your special pick plus first-time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus cash. UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code TCESGPN. All right, we are back. Clark saying, is UConn successful in football? Well,
double-digit win team, right?
They're 4-2, and me and Moneyline Mac might have a large wager on the over this year.
Yeah, 4.5.
So
easy.
I think we're looking all right there, but well, you know, I guess we can't count it until it cashes. But yes, we are talking about the UConn Huskies, who may be in the, you know, who knows what conference in football, but maybe, I mean, who knows? Maybe they'll be back in the Big 12. You have a 9-10 win season. Obviously, we love them in the Big East, but at the same time, I also understand the business of the sport and why it's important to be, you know, football money is football money. And, you know, one of these things that we worry about is the split off. We see Sankey meeting. I hope when Sankey meets in Nashville this Wednesday, they address the fact that a team with a 0-star quarterback just knocked off the Alabama Crimson Tide in that very city and took the goalposts into the goddamn Cumberland River. But I'm sure they won't. They'll say, no, we need the top teams are the best. There's no upsets in this sport. We should just put the top teams in and make all the small teams, let's do a 96 team tournament. All right. And I don't know. I don't know where you guys are at with this, but this is like the worst shit ever, right? It's going to happen, right?
Not a fan.
It's going to eventually happen though, right? Because money always wins, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's fucking horrible. A shot. Anyway, UConn basketball, they don't need a shot because they're fucking awesome. All right. Dan Hurley turns down the LA Lakers. Thank you for staying in college basketball. I think it strengthens the sport. I know I got in an argument with someone saying, Colby, you don't even like UConn. Why are you rooting for him to come back? Because it's good for the fucking sport. To have Dan Hurley, who I know can drive us all crazy. I feel like sometimes when he's yelling at the referees or something.
I don't know if it's not liking Hurley, but like early on at UConn, they just didn't perform in March. That was like the reason for fading.
Well, I did ride New Mexico State money line. What was that 3 years ago?
Correct.
Got it done. There we go. So look, you're thinking, okay, they've won back-to-back national championships, and obviously that was probably because Tristan Newton was from East Carolina. I understand we're all thinking that, right? And you got your greedy little hands on our guy. I understand, but he's gone. Cam Spencer gone. Donovan Clingan gone. Stephon Castle gone. Andre Johnson transferred to Utah Valley. Apostolosis Rumagalu transferred out to Richmond. I'm just talking. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
It's a hell of a name.
Apostolosis. No, Apostolos. Romagalu. He's now a Richmond Spider. Moneyline Mac.
Can't wait for the A10 preview.
I'll have to give you the Sky Report. It's right down the road from me.
Can you buy the guy a fucking Molson or something for me? Anyway,
he's at U of R. He probably wants some fancy IPA.
That's true. But hey, I mean, look, I think people were thinking, Hurley's going to take the Laker job because all that production's gone. No, not so fast. Because they do bring back Alex Caravan. They also bring in a 5-star Liam McNeely. No relation to Cam, as far as I know. But for manly love, meet me at what is he saying? Dumb and Dumber. Anyway, Hassan Daria is back as well, and they go out and get Aiden Mahaney, the transfer from St. Mary's. Kick his ass, Seabass. That's what I was trying to refer to. But Aiden Mahaney, obviously, absolute dog at St. Mary's coming in. Terrace Reed also comes in from Michigan. Both gets sneaky good, perhaps. They also have a couple 4-star recruits, Ahmad Noel and Isaiah Abraham. They return Jalen Stewart and let me talk to Samson Johnson. All back. Call me crazy. I don't think the drop off is that substantial. I mean, yes, it's substantial as far as winning a national championship, maybe, but they're gonna be towards the top of I'm not fading them anymore. They've reached DEFCON 5. All right, and I'm just trusting the process. Just whatever Dan Hurley does right now, he can't fuck it up. Everything he touches is fire. And I actually think getting Terrace Reed might be a better get than people think. I'm curious your thoughts on that, Bieniek, because you're a Michigan fan. But yeah, I think they're going to be amongst the best teams in the Big East. Mac?
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, with the culture that they got going on, but I will say, they are going to take a step back. They're UConn fans. I hate to break it. You're not going 37-3 again. This is I like the biggest piece that they got was a returning guy. Getting Caravan back was huge.
Agreed.
Because they run their offense through him at the point forward. He can pass. He can make shots. He can defend. He knows Hurley. Year 3 or 4? What is it? Yeah, year 4 in the system now. Mahaney's a good get, and it's a bigger name. I think he's going to go through his lumps. If you remember Tristan Newton, it took him a minute to get going at UConn. Diarra is a good piece as well. Johnson, I think, slides right in. But you can't just replace Castle clinging 2 of the top 3 picks in the NBA draft and Spencer and Newton and just expect that you're going to be 37-3 again. I'll make the bold prediction right now. They will not win the Big East regular season.
Woo!
I still think they're good. Don't get me wrong. But Dan Hurley had not won a Big East regular season title until last year.
Well,
I don't get rain man cold.
At Moneyline_Mac, UConn fans.
yeah, I like this. Bieniek, your thoughts on the Huskies and why they'll win a 3rd national championship?
Yeah, Mac's a little bit lower on this team than I am, obviously. You look, so Caravan, Aiden Mahaney, Liam McNeely, Hassan Diarra, for my money, is the best quartet of players on one roster in the Big East. And they're coached by a staff that has won back-to-back national championships. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You know, this is the best coaching staff in the country as we speak right now because of that. It took Dan Hurley a few years to figure out in March, but they've been a wood chipper in the final 2 months of the NCAA season, the last 2 years. And they've had a top 30 offense in each of the last 4 years, along with Luke Murray and Kamani Young. These guys, they just have their team playing best ball when it matters most. However, I think there's a potential for growing pains this season, specifically at the point guard and center spots, which isn't ideal. Those are probably 2 most important positions, in my opinion. Samson Johnson is a lob threat and a capable defender, whereas Terrace Reed's really good in the post, but he gets lost on defense, and neither guy is a complete player. At the point guard spot, it's more of me trying to poke holes, as we haven't seen Hassan Diarra run the show yet, but if he's incapable, they have Aiden Mahaney, who did run the show at St. Mary's, and he had a what you could say a slight step back of a season in his sophomore year. Was definitely not what I would consider a sophomore slump, but I will agree to the point that WCC to the Big East is a big step up in competition every single night. You had Gonzaga, San Francisco, and some nights in the WCC, but every single night, each team is more talented. Either way, UConn's a great team. So I'm just trying to poke holes here.
Yeah. Look, I will not be a fool again. All right. They're at least
consider me in that basket too.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're winning 25 games. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, my version of fading them is they go 25-10 this year rather than 37-3.
Perhaps. What up to Chad G? YouTube.com/the college experience. Jump on over there. Let's talk ball. All right. Moving down the ranks here, because we're all somewhat bullish on UConn with great reason. Let's talk about Michael Creighton, better known as Creighton. Michael Creighton is a reference to Sean Stack and the Money Green pronouncing Creighton. Greg McDermott. There's something about me enjoying fading him in the tournament, but hey, this team could be very good this year because Ryan Cockbrenner, I'm sure he'll get injured by the time this podcast goes out, but he's been in college 20 years. He's good. Averaged 17 points a game a season ago, 35 minutes a game. Stephen Ashworth is back as well. And they got some other pieces that I think, could be real hits. Bringing in Pop Isaacs from Texas Tech, bringing in a freshman in Fedor Zugic. Also Mason Miller is back. They went out and got Jemiah Neal, an Arizona State transfer that averaged 11 points with the Sun Devils there. And also bringing 4 stars, Jackson McAndrew. Sounds like a president from like fucking 150 years ago. And Larry Johnson. They got Grandmama. Let's go. Can't fade a Larry Johnson. Both top 100 recruits there coming in. And obviously they lose Trey Alexander and Francisco Farabello, who was in college 1,000 years, and Baylor Shireman. I actually think
that's a big loss.
Yeah. I mean, I actually think though that this team might be, is it crazy to think that they could be more athletic this year?
No, I don't think that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, Alexander was.
Yeah, he was good. He was.
Shireman was not. He was white.
Yeah.
It's called like it is.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're getting better. I think they're probably more the same.
Well, I know. I mean, where are you guys at? Like McDermott does such a good job making them relevant and good in the regular season, but I love to fade them in March. Is that just like he takes it as far as he can based on the talent that he has, or is it something that just the style of play they have just doesn't translate well in March? Or am I just a hater, Mac?
I think they were a little bit like Purdue, but I didn't realize this. They've been in the second weekend 3 out of the last 4 years. I knew that they went to the Elite Eight and Sweet 16 last year, but I forgot that in 21 they also went to the Sweet 16. But early on in his Creighton era, he definitely fell short a lot.
You want to know? You want to know the difference? I have this prep. This is my favorite stat of the show here. Ever since Kalkbrenner stepped on campus, he's given the Blue Jays a super high floor when it comes to just the presence in front of the rim. This kid's been 3 straight Big East Defensive Player of the Year award winner. He's probably going to win a 4th this year. In his 4 years in Omaha, Creighton's average defensive efficiency on KenPom has finished in 18th. And McDermott's average defenses through his tenure at Creighton, 98th. Maybe that's a reason why he was rumored to places like Ohio State in the most recent coaching carousel.
I agree with you, Noah. The more and more you sold me on that, and he's a good rim protector. Yes, he does struggle to stay healthy, but I like Ashworth. He was good at Utah State, 2nd year in the system. Isaacs coming over, can shoot the basketball from Texas Tech. I think they just have an identity at Creighton. They're gonna make a bunch of shots, and then Kalkbrenner's at least giving them a little bit of both ends of the floor protecting the rim. So yeah, I love Creighton. They're right there to win the Big East again.
Does Kalkbrenner complete the season healthy? Does he play every game for Creighton? Okay,
I think so.
How many games did he miss last year? Just out of curiosity.
Isn't that why they lost? Didn't he get injured, or was that 2 years ago? He lost.
That was 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years ago. Yeah, Jesus. See, it's what I'm saying.
No, 2 years.
2 years
ago.
3
years ago, he got injured before the Kansas tournament game. And then,
but last year he missed time though, didn't he? I thought early in the year he was out.
35 games last year, 34 and 23, 34 and 22, 31 and 21.
So I'm a hater.
Yeah, you just give him
fair enough.
Rap.
Fair enough.
Well, I don't.
2 years ago, he did miss that stretch in December where they lost every game. I remember.
That's what I thought. That's what I was like. I remember like multiple, but whatever.
That's the part that I remember. He missed 3 games.
Yeah.
In the regular season, I love Creighton. Anytime you got a team playing at Creighton, I love taking the Blue Jays at home on that court.
UConn up so bad.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite spots to take them. It's just I always wondered.
I think they have a super high floor, and he's a big reason for it. Like in the small sample size that he's missed games, they've lost, and that's what I think Colby, really kind of gives them because he matters that much to this team. They've never finished outside of the top 4 in his career in his 4 years there. So Creighton's offense and specifically shooting the ball this year is my question mark, but Bundesliga professional basketball player. Yes, you heard that correctly. Fedor Zugic is a 21-year-old who's being labeled as a freshman. I think he can answer a lot of these question marks. He does have some eligibility issues with the NCAA, but from everything that I'm reading, it sounds like it's only a matter of time that he gets approved and there might be a suspension that comes with it. Either for Zugic, but that would be kind of unfair to the player. I think it's more, it might happen to McDermott, but either way, Zugic is a 6'6" wing that has already played 5 seasons of pro ball in Europe against grown men. And he's averaged 10 points per game, shooting at 35% from 3, 42.5% from the field. And he's also played in the Euro U20 tournament in 2022 for Montenegro. Let me take you through the last 6 finishes in the U20 Euro tournament for Montenegro, by the way. 11th, 12th, 3rd, 13th, 16th. Yes, the 3rd place finish, Fedor Zugic averaged 8, 3, and 3 and led them to a bronze medal. This kid's the real deal. Overall, it's not what college basketball should be. There's a big problem here, in my opinion. However, I'm going to make a lot of money betting on this kid's props when he begins to play in Creighton basketball this year. So you pair Zugic, who's a wing, and Kalkbrenner, who's the center who averaged 17 points per game last season, with Stephen Ashworth and Pop Isaacs. Both of them are 2 guards that averaged over 3.5 dimes last season. I think the offense is going to be just fine.
Yeah, no, you're right. And they'll be a top 4 team, I think, without question. And maybe this could be their year. I mean, you bring in a guy who's been playing pro
for 5 years.
Respect. And if I'm a Creighton fan, or if you're listening to this, fuck the NCAA. All right, just don't agree to anything. Say I'll see you in court and see how that works out for them. Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe I should be more bullish on them. I think it was just 2 years ago. Maybe I just ate shit on. Just had a grudge. I felt like against them last year. You know,
they had a slump 2 years ago.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Games, and it kind of spanned a little bit longer. It was like a 6-game losing streak.
I'll buy into them this year. All right, I'll buy into them some. Moving forward, we go. Well, actually, first, let me tell you that the college basketball experience is brought to you by BetUS. Bet with the best in the business. BetUS. Yes, BetUS has been around for more than 30 years. You can easily deposit using cryptocurrency and get lightning fast payouts. Sign up and deposit $100. You have a chance to win a 1960 Ford Mustang. Bieniek, buddy, you could
upgrade.
You can retire the LeBaron, drive around Ypsilanti in a 1960 Ford Mustang, getting all the poontang. Let's go. Use our link to sign up and get 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits. Go to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betus. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/betus. Promo code SGPN so they know that we sent you. BetUS, America's favorite sports book. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. SGPN's proud partner. Rhythm is the #1 AI-powered sports betting platform that helps provide bettors of all levels the ability to build custom betting models in seconds. You can get predictions for betting on money lines, spreads, totals, props, all that good stuff. Maybe you want to sit back and just copy one of the top performing models from the leaderboard, or you could be like Dundee here and build your own. Yeah, press that, build me a model, and then select what you like, and then Rhythm will adjust around that. Rhythm gives you predictions for every game and player prop. They have a slew of stats, research, trend analysis to give you even more betting insight. Claim your free 7-day trial period today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's RITHMM. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. All right, we move down the ranks. We jump on over to the team everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
This is what I mean
with this roster.
I mean, this team, Chris Holtmann was unjustly fired at Ohio State, he says, and I was going to Chicago to get the band back together like Elwood Blues did. All right. So Chris Holtmann comes in. They have 0 players from the team.
Might be a good thing.
Ago. Yeah, it's got to be a good thing. That's got to be a good thing. Brought in Connor Enright from Drake, the Bulldogs there. Played about 26.5 minutes with Drake. Also brought in Jacob Meyer from Coastal Carolina, the Shots. Also brought in Isaiah Rivera from right across town, UIC. David Skogman comes in from Davidson, and NJ Benson from Missouri State, as well as Layden Blocker from the Arkansas Razorbacks, and JJ Trainer from Louisville. Also brought in Southern Illinois' Troy D'Amico, CJ Gunn from Indiana, David Thomas from Mercer, also a couple 3-star recruits. Whew. I got no idea. I'll put them dead last. Let me just, you got to prove it to me here. And also a team that you just got, I mean, this is the fun though. We saw, not to compare it exactly to college football, but I do believe, I was doing Hoops Peterson. Shout out to Greg Peterson. I was doing his podcast this afternoon. And he was asking me, like, do you learn anything at media days? And I said, you learn more than you used to learn, because these transfers, you come in, you got no idea who's going to be starting. You're just taking guesses here left and right, especially if they're JUCO transfers. You have no idea there how their talent will transform into the team or conference that they're in.
I like watching media days for, like, oftentimes coaches are either going to bring the seniors or like their leaders. A lot of times, like the guys they can trust in front of a microphone. Those are the guys that are going to lead the team. That's why I like watching media days. How those guys handle themselves.
Well, but I also think we're in this day and age where we just saw Vanderbilt beat Alabama in football. They had a whole team full of transfers, and this happens. This is how you rebuild. So could I be way off?
As a dog, we knew that.
Yeah, we did know that. Now I don't see a Diego Pavia on this team per se, but maybe I didn't scout Southern Illinois as much as I should have, because they've had some good programs. They've had some good years. I mean, I got them dead last though, just because it seems like I'm not even sold on Holtman being a great coach. So I do think it was a good hire for DePaul. Both can be true, but Mac, where you at with the Blue Demons?
I really like the hire at DePaul for getting Holtman. I think Holtman's better at a school like DePaul, to be honest, where he's under the radar. He can get some guys that you mentioned that are coming over from multiple mid-major programs: Drake, Coastal, Illinois, Chicago, Davidson, Missouri State, Southern Illinois. I question if they have the athleticism and size to make it through the Big East. So they're definitely at the bottom for me in year one. I need to see it from all these guys who mentioned them, but I'm looking forward to the Chris Holtman era at DePaul. I think he could be the guy that elevates it a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think I'm on board with that. I think he's the best coach they've had in a while there, but still, he needs to prove it to me, like in big games. But because I always thought Ohio State kind of gave us lemons in big games there, but Bieniek,
we're just asking them to get to a big game at this point.
Yeah. And he,
you don't have to win it yet.
He could certainly be the guy for that. So, Bieniek, your thoughts on these Blue Demons?
Yeah, I've got this team in the basement, and Colby mentioned it like at the top of it, made a little bit of a joke about it. The team that everybody's talking about. I mentioned it to Colby and Mac just because of the timing of when we were doing this show, that, hey, we had a listener that, tunes in a lot to our shows, and we were debating who's going to be a better team this year, Georgetown or DePaul. That only happens with TCU listeners. Let me just tell you that. Like, that's amazing. I love that kind of discourse in October. Give me that every day of the week. I really enjoyed it. I answered DePaul, and here's why. I think this team has more upside, and I'm going to take the upside over a team that I don't see the upside in. So Chris Holtman, granted, he is probably the best coach they've had in a long time, went out into the transfer portal and just said, give me all the shooting I can get. And each one of these guys, I feel like in their own right, is a lottery ticket. And I talked about it with Butler. I think that roster is a lottery ticket. That's
you
more
playing
of a
the lottery
talk.
this week? A lot of lottery talk, but I've never heard you mention the lottery this many times.
I know, but you
hit 21 or something. What's going on there?
Tell me the truth here.
The Butler team's more of a scratch off ticket. This is like playing Powerball or Mega Millions, because you're going to lose 95% of the time, but in that 5%, you might win big. Look, a lot of these guys shot it really well last year. A lot of them are good players from average to bad mid-major programs, but there's a reason why Holtman did it. And there is upside to this roster, 100%. They're going to be able to score. They're not going to be able to play defense, but I mean, comparing the two teams that are in the basement, in my opinion, by no doubt, I think this team's going to have the better chance to have a really good offense compared to like just a bad offense. And I think they're going to be bad. This is a big old circle just to get to the point. Like, I have them 10th, but I have them slightly above Georgetown because you've got 8 guys that can shoot the 3, and a lot of these guys were efficient from the floor. It's just both teams are going to be bad. I think meshing is an issue for both of them. Give me DePaul with a slightly higher ceiling.
Shout out to Tyson Spalding. Appreciate you tuning in, Tyson. No. I hear
all over Georgetown.
I hear bullshit over there, and Ed Cooley year 2. He's he's going to energize this program. He's already doing it, even though they struggled year 1.
We're moving right into Georgetown here.
Yeah, we will, because Jaden Epps is back. I like the Micah Peavy get from TCU. He brings in Jordan Burks from Kentucky, Curtis Williams from Louisville, Malik Mack from Harvard. I think when you add Mack, Epps, and Peavy, and if this freshman Kevon Mulready, if he could be just somewhat good here, or him or Sorber. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Sorber. That's what I'm saying. But like,
Sorber is going to be better than Mulready.
I just think, to me, like, I would trust this team way more than DePaul, just because I think that Ed Cooley, just in year 2, I trust it more. And I just think they're more talented on paper. Like they're just way more. There's more talent on Georgetown's roster than DePaul's to me. So I will push back on what you say there, but they did lose Victor Mirasan, son of the great George Mirasan, and Ryan Mutombo, son of Dikembe Mutombo. Thoughts and prayers out to him and his family. They also lost Supreme Cook, Dontrez Styles, Jay Heath, Mossad, the transfer from K-State. They lost a ton, but Brumball, another one. I tend to think this team is going to be more talented on the court athletically than last year's team. And I also think they're going to understand the system more and more year 2, what Ed Cooley wants. I don't have them making the NCAA tournament, but I do think you're going to see signs of life. And I think Hoya fans are just thirsty for a sign that things are going up in the right direction. Mac, your thoughts on the Hoyas?
Yeah, I definitely think they're going to take a step. He did this at Providence. It took him a year. He was in the basement. Then the next year they went from 4 wins to 9 wins. I don't think they're going to be 500 in the Big East. I think they could finish 500 overall with the bye games on their schedule. I like Mac coming over from Harvard. I like Peavy with his time in the Big 12. He's a good athlete. Epps coming back as well. And then the talented freshman. I just trust Cooley. To be honest, this is going to give you trouble. I think Georgetown might finish above Providence. Stay tuned on Providence. Stay tuned.
There's a potential for a low floor with Providence. I'll give you the correct take that you've picked out a team that might really fall through the floor. Well, but
that one's personal.
Georgetown.
That one's personal for the Providence fans. That's why
we just got a couple 1-star reviews, but I appreciate it. All
Ed Cooley, baby. Let's go. I'm buying into Ed Cooley. Let's go Hoyas.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, folks. Next up,
we go. I have questions about.
I'm sorry. I thought you already made your case, but okay, yeah. Continue.
No, I didn't talk about the Georgetown roster. It's real simple for me. This one's really quick. You got 2 ball dominant guards, and Malik Mack and Jaden Epps. Both of them are going to want to run the show. I think they're going to begin with Malik Mack, who was at Harvard last year and missed a boatload of games due to mono. And Epps wants the ball. Epps wants to shoot it. Volume shooter from last year. We'll see how that translates. And you're going to be starting 2 freshmen. I have questions. So I got them 11th. I love Ed Cooley. I did Providence previews with Colby in years past. Absolutely loved him. But I don't like this roster as of right now in the preseason.
You got bothered by the move. That's what it was. It's personal to you, huh?
It's divine.
Yeah, were you part of that documentary behind the
everybody's
scenes?
Face. All right, let's move.
That documentary made him look like fucking Lee Harvey Oswald or some shit.
Noah started those tweets. Ed Cooley's Hitler. That's
that's true.
I enjoyed
that burner account.
I enjoyed that stuff last year.
That's so ridiculous.
Hey, Mac, do you look good in orange?
Do I look good in orange? Why?
That was one of those popular tweets.
Yeah.
It was yes.
Yeah, because they were saying.
I'm glad the light bulb went on, so I didn't have to explain it.
Yeah, I was like, "Where are you going with this? Is this political? What's going on?"
Look, I think it's been a while, and I know Clark's a Georgetown fan. I know that one team Ewing got to the tournament after they won the Big East tournament. I still would say though that I don't know that fans really got excited around anything from that era. I think they got excited with the hire of Patrick Ewing, right? But I think it's been a while since they got excited about a team on the court. And I think this season, whether they make the tournament or not, which I don't think they will, but I do think you're going to have excitement on the court for the first time in a long time to me. So that's a step in the right direction to me. Moving along, let's go to Marquette and Shaka Smart. Still bitter at the Colorado coaching job last season against Marquette. And I was accurate with my 3 players on NFL or NBA rosters. Remember that? I took some flack for that in the chat. Remember that?
Yeah, they all got drafted.
Yeah, some of the people in the chat were calling me a fucking idiot, huh? Well, guess what? This drunken idiot over here, Dundee, nailed it. All three are on NBA rosters, which makes it even worse when I think about the Colorado season last year. Someone passed me the barf bag. Anyway, it's about Marquette, though. All right, Shaka Smart is obviously
about Colorado Wednesday.
Yeah. Tune in on Wednesday, the college basketball experience, folks. Shaka Smart is back. He's always done such a great job as a coach, with the exception to his tenure at Texas, where even with that, I think you could pop hole. I don't think it was as bad as the world thought. But anyway, Cam Jones, dog, he's back. David Joplin, dog, he's back. They get Sean Jones back. Remember they off the torn ACL. They also returned Ben. I love gold. He's back, and same with Stevie Mitchell there. So I think there's a lot to be excited about here. Also, they bring in a 4-star freshman, Royce Parham. Sign me up for this. I mean, I know they lose Kolek, who played fantastic for them last season, way beyond anything I thought he would do. They also lose Ricardo. Yeah, I mean, I buy into this right now. I mean, maybe they'll be a tournament team for sure, and they'll be flirting, I think, around the top 4 and the Big East there. So I don't think this is very shocking by us. Another thing is Demarius Owens coming in. I know they're excited about him, another 4-star. Mac, your thoughts on the very golden Eagles?
I really like this team, and you know why? Because it's not like the sexy team like that Shaka had at Texas, and then last year they had some hype, but 2 years ago, I mean, we thought they were going to be bottom, and then they just popped up and won the Big East regular season title. They don't really use the portal at Marquette. They invest in their guys, and they find a way to keep them around. They got the continuity back. I think definitely a top 4 team once again. They have an identity at Marquette. They're tough. They're not the biggest size team, but they spread you out. They drive it. They defend, and they got that grit, man. I like Marquette a lot this year, even losing Kolek and the big fella Oso. So yeah, I like Marquette again.
I mean, would you be shocked if they won the regular season title? Because I wouldn't.
Not at all.
Yeah,
not at all.
Yeah, I would not. Noah, would you be shocked?
I'm a little down on Marquette, and I totally would understand the room for being confident in Shaka Smart just being able to rebuild this thing, and he trusts his program building. He's had a top 25 offense in each of the last 2 seasons, but I think Iguodaro and Kolek are certainly big hits. Marquette's still going to be able to shoot the hell out of the ball this year. Cam Jones, Chase Ross, David Joplin, Ben Gold, they all shot the ball over 35% last season. Stephen Mitchell is probably going to move into that Tyler Kolek distributor role. So I don't know if there's a discussion in our chat right now. It's popping for the Big East preview at midnight Eastern time. Who was the bigger loss between Iguodaro and Kolek? I think Iguodaro is the easy answer because I think they have a chance to replace some of Kolek's distribution from last year with Stevie Mitchell, because he's not going to come close to the 15 point per game production, but Shaka has had Stevie Mitchell marinating in the system for a few years now. And I think he's going to come close to that 7.5 assist mark with all of the shooting that surrounds him that Kolek had a season ago. Defensively, though, I see Marquette taking a step back without Iguodaro in the middle and Kolek on the floor, who's a bulldog, nasty defender. I think Marquette for me is still a title contender, but I'm less confident in them than I am in other programs.
Fair. Shout out to Tyson Spalding, who says he can't wait for the SEC preview. That is already out there and available to go check out. We just did that the other night, so go check that out. Appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, those were big hits. I'm not disputing the big hits that losing both those guys. I just think that at this point, I just trust what he's doing up there. I don't think there's that. Like, to me, I think he's become a better coach with his time, and that's why I think they'll be in the mix. So
he's better, Colby. He's better at these programs that are under the radar. Chippy, VCU, Marquette, not the prima donna Texas.
yeah. Thank God, by the way, Shaka. We'll send you that money too.
In the year that everybody ran him out, he did win the Big 12 tournament too. And
dude,
he finished third.
If that foul's not caught against Abilene Christian, they win, and then who knows what happens with their season?
Yeah,
kind of got misjudged, in my opinion. All right, moving along. Next, we're going to Providence. Kim English. I gotta be honest. Like I said, I haven't been the most on point with the Big East the past 2 years. Kim English. I was a skeptic.
I'd like to counter this.
I was a skeptic last year.
What
right?
you're gonna say though? Yeah, I'd like to counter it after you make this point, or you say something.
I mean, I'm just saying that, like, to me, I look like a fucking idiot. I thought he did a good job. Thought he did a good job for year one.
I think it's a lot of Devin Carter and Bryce Hopkins, who were
Bryce Hopkins towards ACL.
Correct, but they were Kool-Aid players, and Devin Carter was.
He didn't have Hopkins the whole Big East player or Big East regular season, so he had to remake the whole. He had to reshape how they were going to play. I'm.
They were still a bottom half team.
No, they finished 10-10.
Yeah, they finished 7th.
I still think, like, to me, they were more impressive than I thought coming into the season, and especially getting dealt the hand that he got dealt with the injury. I thought he did a really good job considering, and I think it gives you reason to believe that he could be the right man. And I questioned the hire. I didn't think he was ready for it. I thought of George Mason, those teams underperformed. This year, obviously, will be a big year. Josh Odoro's gone. Obviously, Devin Carter is in the NBA. They also lost Gaines, the forward there. And lost a couple other guys to the portal. I don't know if anyone were super. They lost Santoro to a Doug Gottlieb in Green Bay. He brought in another George Mason transfer, Justin Fernandez, who's familiar with from Fairfax. Getting Bryce Hopkins back's huge. Also, Jaden Pierre. Cardette comes in, Wesley Cardette from our Chicago State team that we love so much, the Cougars. Jabari Abdul Rahim, who's been at every goddamn school in the country, he transfers in. Bensley Joseph also transfers in from the Hurricanes, and Isindoko from St. Joe's transfers in. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not there this year. We'll see how Hopkins comes back. I don't think they're a tournament team this year, but I will say, I thought, if I graded year one, I thought he did a pretty damn good job for year one, despite all that happened. Mac, your thoughts?
Yeah, I was down on the hire. I didn't think he did enough at Mason and to get the Providence job. I'd probably graded a B just because he found a way to keep him right there in the bubble. I probably thought they should have maybe made the tournament, but Hopkins, I don't think is going to be back right away either. So like they're going to have to find a way to mesh. They don't have Devin Carter, who was a huge, huge loss. They got a bunch of guys that are question marks in the transfer portal. Yeah, Cardette was great at Chicago State, but this is the Big East now. Abdur Rahim's been around the block. Sindoko as well, coming over from St. Joe's, and then Bensley Joseph. I think that I'm with you. I think this is probably an NIT team. I don't even think that this is a bubble team, to be honest. I think they're going to miss the tournament altogether next year.
I agree with you. Bieniek, your thoughts on these Friars?
Yeah, I guess I was hating on Kim English too much because you guys were trying to defend him. I was going against him, and then you guys are probably going to be lower on them than I am.
What do you think about last year's team?
Yeah, I'm just talking about last year. This year,
100%.
Yeah.
And I think this year the offense has disaster potential because of what we saw last year with Kim English and Providence. Granted, the Bryce Hopkins injury halfway through the year, but the Friars offense finished 125th offensively on KenPom, and that was with Devin Carter balling out. Like if you would have asked somebody to predict that in the preseason, they wouldn't have without Hopkins. You wouldn't have thought that Devin Carter was going to completely outplay Hopkins after the year that Hopkins had in 2022-23. Kim English's offenses have just not been great. And that talks about what Colby is, kind of questioned with, he's had the talent and the teams just haven't lived up to expectation. And, he goes out and grabs Wesley Cardette Jr., who to be a shot creator. And when I saw that, I was like, ooh, that's a gigantic step up. But at, the World Tour, I wanted to do my due diligence. I looked at it. The Cougars, they played 5 power conference opponents last season. Cardette averaged 16 points per game on 36% shooting in those matchups. So there's that. I'm still not bought all the way in on it, though. And a Jaden Pierre, a Cardette, a Jabri Abdur-Rahim backcourt, I think this is a bottom half offense and bottom half team in the Big East.
Yeah, I'm with you. Moving along, let's talk about the Seton Hall Pirates there. Shaheen Holloway. I'm a big fan, and
they got
how the hell do they not retain Kadari Richmond, who transfers in conference?
Money.
I mean, yeah, but still, you would think someone over there would have some damn money. But anyway, yeah. Look, they also lost this guy named Dre Davis, who was pretty good for them. They also lost Alamir Dawes, Betty Ako. They took some hits, man. They took some major hits, and that sucks, man. Because I am a big Shaheen. They got robbed. This is a team that should have been in the NCAA tournament last year. I will die on this fucking hill that Seton Hall belonged in the NCAA tournament last year. Over 15 teams that got in. They bring in, a bunch of transfers because obviously a bunch left. Chauncey Jenkins from Old Dominion. Aligbe from Boston College, Toomey from Evansville, who played big minutes there as a grad. He's a grad transfer coming in. Zion Harmon from Bethune-Cookman, the Reggie Theus and company. Garway Duell from Providence. Scotty Middleton from Ohio State. Okafor from Louisville. Other than that, they getting Adewusu back, who hit the portal. That was a win. I don't think this team will make the tournament. I think this team regression is due, and it's a damn shame because I thought he got robbed. I thought he got absolutely robbed, and I thought in the tournament last year, you never know. Once you get in, you just never know. We've seen it too many times with the play-in teams going deep, and that's unfortunate. Mac, your thoughts on the Pirates?
Yeah, they did get robbed, and we did a whole episode on that on Selection Sunday because that was a joke. Then they went on to win the NIT. They had an identity last year. They were a defensive junkyard team that just thrived on the defensive end. Shaheen Holloway team. This is hard to duplicate, in my opinion, back-to-back years when you're bringing in so many guys via the transfer portal. I love Dre Davis. It was one of the reasons I'm so high on Ole Miss over there at the SEC. Sneak peek, I'm going to be high on St. John's. I love Kadari Richmond as well. This is a bottom half team as well. I kind of think that they're going to miss the NCAA tournament again under Shaheen Holloway. I think they're going to struggle to make the NIT, to be honest. They're just so limited with their resources over there, in my opinion.
I don't even understand how they are, but
I don't get it either. Yeah. We'll see how much longer he's there, and not because he's going to get fired. I think that was why he was rumored so many other jobs this offseason. Is he's kind of maximized it to a certain degree.
Yeah, Bieniek, the Seton Hall Pirates, can they get back to the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I mean, you look at last year. I was very high on Seton Hall. I predicted them to finish 5th. It was kind of like a 90% outcome on standard deviation, and they finished 4th. A lot of people did not like that roster on paper last year. This year, I'm going to be in that boat. I don't love this team on paper. I believe Shaheen Holloway gets the most out of what he can with a lot of the rosters he's had. But even I can't predict like a 60% outcome on this because I question the defense this year. The Pirates lacked height this season. A lot of the transfers coming from losing programs. I just see red flag after red flag. I don't know if the shooting's going to be good this year either. Like I've said for a couple of the programs why they could be lottery tickets. I just need to stay away for my own good here. Like I know Colby likes to buy into Butler because he likes that motto. I have to hold myself away from buying into.
I mean, look, I like Shaheen Holloway. It's just I think Butler's got a better when I look at Butler's roster compared to this roster, I sit there and say, I think Butler could have a higher ceiling if they can get there.
Sneak peek, I have Butler ranked higher than Seton Hall.
Yeah.
This might be the worst roster in the league. No, they're higher than DePaul probably, but they just don't. There's so many questions.
DePaul's got a higher ceiling than Seton Hall.
Maybe.
I think it's close. All right, let's talk about.
This one's gonna be fun.
Here you go.
Let's talk about my boys. Whoa. Let's talk about my boys.
What are we doing? No other team that we've ever done preview in the preseason got music. And we're doing music for Seton.
Yes.
They missed the tournament last year. Why do they deserve
robbed in a bunch of these close games. Still mad about it. Wrote my senator.
They should have been in, man. That was a joke.
Big East should have gotten 5 or 6 last year.
And look, Slick Rick Pitino. Look, you want to light a fire? They fucked up because they didn't put him in. Because you know what that did? He went to his NIL collective. He said, "Okay,
he got more time in the portal because he
let's go dominate." All right. And one of the best things he did was get rid of some of that in-house trash from either graduation or transfer. But Derry Richmond, we just talked about it. Awesome get. They also brought in Aaron Scott from North Texas. They brought in Uwuchukwu from USC at the big 7'1" big man. What's not to like there? But Davion Smith from Utah. Smith, Richmond, and RJ Lewis. Oh man, let's go. They also brought in 4-star recruit, 53rd player in the nation, Jaden Glover. Brady Dunlap is back. Simeon Wilcher's back as well. How do I pronounce the backup big man again? I don't even know. It's like Oifor. I don't know because that's an H, right? I don't fucking remember. Anyway, they're all back. I can't fucking pronounce shit. And but look,
just
they lost.
Zuby.
Is that? I don't remember.
Just say Zuby.
Okay. Glenn Taylor, he transferred out to Oklahoma. Thought he might stay. That was interesting to me. But Chris Ledlam, gone. Aline, gone. Soriano, gone. Jenkins, gone. Dingle, gone. And I'm not sweating one bit. What are you going to do when St. John's wins the Big East this year? All right. That's what I want to know. Mac, let's fight again, buddy. Tell me you're fading Slick Rick.
I told you I was going to be high on them. And if you really look at last year too, and I feel like I was so on this team. I said they were going to struggle early, and then come March they were rolling. They finished 6-1 ever since everybody said he was out of touch with the new day and age. And their only loss was to UConn in the Garden in the semifinals by 6. They went toe-to-toe with UConn. They were playing their best ball. If they got in the tournament, man, they might have won a game or two and got to the Sweet 16. Now they got Davion Smith coming in, who I loved at Utah. I love Richmond at Seton Hall. So you got 2 veteran guards that have been a part of decent winning programs at Utah and Seton Hall. Then you got Aaron Scott coming over from North Texas. They've had success. RJ Lewis coming back. They're going to be right there to win the Big East in year 2. And I think Pitino, it took a minute to look at the lay of the land, what he was working with at St. John's, what he was working with against the Big East. It was a year to kind of evaluate, and now I think he's got this thing where he could win a Big East title.
He needed to reacclimate himself to the recruiting game because last year he had a mid-major all-star team. And
no doubt. This team's way better than last year.
This team is so much better than last year.
Athleticism.
From a shooting standpoint too.
They're so much more athletic than last year. Rick Pitino hated that team defensively last year. What he got out of them, he had 10 top 10 defenses at Louisville last season. St. John's finished in the 50s. This team's going to be excellent defensively because he hit the portal looking for some of his guys, and Kadari Richmond, RJ Lewis are they are Pitino guys when it comes to pressing. Both of them are long, lanky, good defenders, aggressive. And then Davon Smith averaged 7 dimes. Richmond had 5 last year per game. This is going to be an unselfish offense. They may struggle to shoot the ball, but they're going to.
I think they're a better shooting team this year than last year.
I don't know about it.
Last year they couldn't shoot either, man.
That's what he said in that postgame. He goes, "I love my kids, but they're not good."
Yeah, last year I thought that was one of the most frustrating things. Was like just wide open shots. I was like, "Good God, you can't make."
I'm very high on this group, but I think Jenkins and Dingle were better shooters than Richmond and Lewis. I'm just gonna say it. I think they were better shooters, but this team's going to score plenty in transition off turnovers. I'm high on this guard group because of that. They're going to play aggressive defense. They're going to go score a lot when there's only 2 or 3 defenders back on that side of the floor. Kadari Richmond's one of my favorite players in basketball right now. He can do it all. Here's my first bold take on the St. John's team this year. I have one ticket on National Player of the Year. It's Kadari Richmond, 150-1. I think he's going to lead the team in scoring. And we might need some help nationally from some big men with high rebound stats to take a step back. But I think Richmond's going to lead the team in scoring. I think he's going to be the leading rebounder on this team for the Johnnies that competes for a Big East banner and a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. My second bold take, this one's more of a lighter one. St. John's lacks depth in the front court. However, 7-footer Vincent Iwuchukwu will earn the nickname, the sacred nickname in New York areas. He's going to be called Vinny at some point this season from Pitino or Johnny Faithful. Vinny, his one job is just to clog up the paint. Vinny, go sit in the paint, defend that rim. And St. John's is going to be really good, but he cannot get hurt for this team. That's the one weakness here.
Yeah. Look, I'm not saying they're a good shooting team just to hit on Clark's comments. I just think they were such a shitty shooting team last year. It's like, to me, it was like hard to be worse. Like, I thought that was one of the giant flaws when I go back and think about those games. It was like, man, if they just had one fucking shooter. Now, I don't know that they actually went out and got a great shooter, but I just feel like their team you can't be much worse to me than what they were from a shooting standpoint, at least, mid-season at least. Maybe they turned it on late. I had to dive into the numbers. But they definitely struggled shooting the ball, I would say, majority of the regular season last year. Anyway,
55-1 to win the Natty, Colby.
Yeah. I'm in. I'll sprinkle that. Let's go.
I think they were the third favorite to win the Big East this year.
They are.
I like it. Let's talk about the team we're all going to eat shit on from last season, Villanova. Kyle Neptune. How much slack does he have?
Not much.
Could this be a mid-season firing?
Yes.
He's a Villanova guy, though. He was there for all those good teams. I think they would, and he's Jay Wright's guy. I think they'll at least give him till the end of the year.
Well, Eric Dixon's back for his 75th year of college hoops. They went out in the portal, brought in Tyler Perkins from Penn. Boyake from Fresno State. Uga Poplar from Miami. Jameer Brickus from LaSalle. I actually like that kid. They also Jordan Long. How do I pronounce this again? Longino back, I believe.
Sounds right.
And the Blastmaster, Chris Parker. All right, from the Boogie Down, comes in from Alabama. They also have a couple 4-star recruits: Matthew Hodge, Josiah Mosley. I mean, they did lose TJ Bamba to Oregon. Lance Ware, Trey Patterson, Brendan Halson to K-State. Tyler Burton graduated after 30 years. Hakeem Hart graduated. Justin Moore graduated. I mean, I can't buy in again, man. I want them to be good. I like Kyle Neptune as a human being. He seems like a good guy. Like I've seen him talk a few times, and I want to root for him to succeed. But at the same time, I ate shit so bad on them last season that it's hard for me to just buy into them this year. Maybe they get into could this be a bubble team? That's and just win some close games with some of the veterans you got here. You got a couple grad transfers.
I think this team is a bubble team.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so maybe you can get in for Kyle's sake, and they could back off a little bit off him. I'm rooting for him. Like I said, he's a Nova guy. I would like to see him succeed here, but I'm shell shocked a little bit from last season and the year prior. So, yeah, call me a skeptic. Mac, your thoughts on the Wildcats?
Yeah, I'm getting a kick out of Damani in the chat saying Dixon is 2 years younger than he graduated 4 years ago. Yeah, I made the joke about McCaffrey being there when Obama was president. Dixon was there, I think, his freshman year, the last year of George Bush. So he's been in college for fucking forever. My God. I think actually Villanova is going to be better than they were last year. I think that they had too much expectation, hype. There too many egos, in my opinion, and that's not Villanova basketball. I think that they kind of got back to what had made them good, and that is guys buying into the team, getting guys that can make shots, make the extra pass, defend, under the radar guys a little bit. That's what won them games over the years, and I think that they're going to be right on the bubble, to be honest. I think, and I'm just looking at Neptune. Year 1, 10-10 in Big East play. Year 2, 10-10 in Big East play. So he's been very consistent right at that 500 mark. I think they're a little bit better this year, but it's going to come right down to the wire once again in Philly to make the tournament.
Bieniek?
Yeah, there's a lot of negativity surrounding Villanova's offseason here. And I'm going to be with Mac here. I think I'm going to predict them to finish just outside of the top half of the Big East. Like, I don't think they're top 5, top 6 team here. Top 5 team, I would say. I don't think they're a top 5 team, but 6 through 9, I see them kind of landing here. So Kyle Neptune, we've figured out, has been, a pretty good recruiter. Last year, he had a very good roster on paper. And this year, I think he lucked out. He got really lucky that he landed Wooga Poplar late in the transfer portal cycle as a secondary scoring option here. Up transfers in Jameer Brickus and Enoch Boke, I think are really good fits for what Nova needs them to fill. Brickus averaged almost 5 assists last year for LaSalle. Boyke, he's a legit threat under the rim to rack up some blocks. And that allows Eric Dixon to play the 4, both offensively and on defense, which will remove some opportunities for opposing teams to get him into foul trouble. Dixon shot at 34.5% from deep last year, averaged 16.5 points. He's going to be a capable 4. I think with him being the primary scorer, Poplar also being an option, scoring option in the back end, Villanova is I think they're going to improve on defense, and they're going to be balanced enough on offense to not sink if their coach is not a good tactician, which we can assume he's not. What I will say is this team lacks depth, and any injury here was going to, sink their floor pretty good.
Yeah. I would like to see them. I'm actually rooting for them to make the NCAA tournament, but I'm a skeptic, man, just like you. Let's talk about the Xavier Musketeers, because this is a team, I think, right after the season ended a year ago, or in April, we did a portal episode somewhere in the next 30 days, and I really liked what Xavier and Sean Miller did. You add that with they're bringing back Zach Freemantle, Davion McKnight, who can ball. They get Jerome Hunter, who what's happening with Jerome Hunter? I have no idea, but Cam Fletcher, Florida State transfer, who tore his ACL. Those guys we think will be. I mean, I'm curious with the Jerome Hunter thing. I haven't heard much, but
yeah, Jerome Hunter is the questionable one for the beginning of the year, but both Fremantle and Fletcher should be good to go.
I like that then. And then you add in like, man, with McKnight, and then they go out and man, they killed it in the portal. You got Hughley coming in from Oklahoma. You get Ryan Conwell from Indiana State, who played really well with them. Dante Maddox balled out at Toledo. We'll see how the step up is, but I really like that third guard play. Marcus Foster comes in from Furman, where he played very well. Lasina Traore from Long Beach State, who I got to watch, in person. He's athletic. And then Roddy Anderson from Boise State comes in too. I mean, you add all of that to if they can just stay healthy, I feel like this team is really good on paper. Now, Sean Miller is one of those ones where I feel like he's got to prove it to me again, but I still think this is a top 3-4 team in the Big East. Excited to watch them. I was doing a deep dive on them yesterday. You might have saw a tweet at TCE on SGPN talking about their stadium, and I love that rivalry. Oh yeah. Mac, your thoughts on these Musketeers this year?
Yeah, I'm buying into Xavier. That was a bad luck year last year, and they didn't quit on it, man. They still were able to manage 9 wins in the Big East, shorthanded. Fremantle went down, Hunter went down. A lot of teams would just mail it in, but not Xavier. They continue to fight to the end shorthanded. We saw him do this in year 1, where he brought a bunch of guys in from the mid-major or winning programs, and they all bought in, and he finished second, got to a Sweet 16. He's been good at Xavier 2 different times now. I'm with you. I like Maddox from Toledo, Conwell from Indiana State, Hughley. Hopefully he could stay healthy, and I love Foster from Furman. Getting Fremantle back, he's a big guy that you can run your offense through. I think Xavier's a top 4 team. I'm buying into Xavier this year.
I just wonder, can all of them gel?
Yeah.
That's the one thing is like
this team is a hype beast, and that is the one thing that I'm pressing the brakes on. Sean Miller also needs to put this team in bubble wrap during practice, because we have Fremantle, Hunter, Fletcher all coming off of injury, plus Marcus Foster and John Hughley and some others have missed time in their careers as well. But the offense, they might be elite. But the fit of Foster and Dante Maddox concerns me a little bit, because I'm assuming Davion McKnight's going to be the point guard for most possessions. And both Maddox and Foster are up transfers that were ball dominant guards. Ryan Conwell is the transfer that I love the most. That I think that's a great get from Indiana State. The guy was money from the wing, and he gives you a little bit of everything, both offensively and defensively. But defensively is, I think, the one hole here. The Musketeers might finish in the bottom half of the Big East in my prediction. The front court with Fremantle and Hunter both coming off of lower half injuries. Hughley's not very mobile. That's a weakness there around the rim. So I'm not too high on Xavier, but I do have them finishing the top half, competing for a title. Like a lot of people here in the preseason, a lot of people are excited about the Xavier team.
Yeah. And let's get to those rankings, because I'm ready to talk shit. Man, that's always fun. At number 11, pretty obvious. I got DePaul. Guess I can't talk any shit there. But Mac, who do you got at 11th?
I like the long-term trajectory with Chris Holtman, but not this year. Yep, DePaul 11 for me.
Bieniek?
Georgetown.
This is where the shit talking's gonna be.
Yeah. At 10 for me, I have the Providence Friars. Mac?
I hate to do this, but I'm just down on this team. Seton Hall, 10.
DePaul, 10.
9, Seton Hall Pirates. I actually went back and forth on like my original document here had Seton Hall 10th, Providence 9th. Something about it, switched it up last second. But give me Seton Hall at 9th. Mac?
Providence. I got the Friars. A lot of question marks.
I'm in a similar boat with Colby. Something about Seton Hall made me switch them at the last minute from 8th to 9th. I have Seton Hall 9th.
At 8th, I do have them Georgetown Hoyas.
Same.
Let's go. Let's go.
And if you're keeping track at home, that means Ed Cooley finishes higher than Providence a year 2.
Perfect. And I need that Georgetown St. John's game to spice up a little bit too. Bieniek, where you going?
I have Butler 8th.
Well, that's my team number 7. I actually wanted to put them 6th, but I just can't go all the way there. Team 7, I have the Butler Bulldogs. Mac, who do you got at 7?
I have the definition of mediocre Villanova Wildcats at 7 under Kyle Neptune, right in the middle.
Bieniek?
That's been a really good program. I'm not sure they've been the definition of mediocre, but
not under Neptune. Jay Wright ain't walking through that door.
I have Providence 7th.
Okay. At 6, I do have those Villanova Wildcats.
Me too.
That was the big thing for me is Villanova or Butler. You ask me tomorrow, I might say Butler. I don't remember, but it's going to be close. Yeah.
I had trouble ranking the teams 6 through 9 through 6 through 9. And then I had trouble 1 through 5. Like this conference, I do not have the best read on, in my opinion.
So wait, who'd you have at 6th?
I had Villanova with you.
Okay. Mac, you said 6th already?
I did not. I got Butler. So year 3 of Thad Matta greater than year 3 of Kyle Neptune.
I like it. At 5th, I had the Creighton Blue Jays.
Ooh.
Mac?
I just said they were a top 4 team, and I'm going to put them 5th. I have Xavier, and I love Xavier, man. I just love these other top 4 teams. They finished tied for 4th with this next team that I'm going to say. Go ahead, Noah.
I want it on the record. If Zugic is not eligible for this season, Creighton's 5th for me. But I think he's going to be eligible at some point, November, December. So I have Xavier. I have Marquette 5th. Marquette 5th.
Yeah, well, they're my 4th. So and yeah, I mean that is kind of an intangible there to think about with the Creighton play.
If Zugic is not on the team, that team's going to struggle to shoot.
Yeah. So I'm with you. I have Marquette though at 4. Mac, who you got at 4?
I went Marquette 4. I like Shaka's group under the radar.
I have Xavier 4th.
Xavier is my number 3. Mac?
UConn 3. Take a little step back. They've only won the regular season 1 time under Dan Hurley last year. Back to that 3 range. But hey, top 4 seed in March.
Bieniek?
I have St. John's 3rd.
Well, at 2 on Huskies.
I wonder. All right.
I told you I wasn't going to fade them, but I still am not going to put them first when you got my guy in New York City. That loves a good diner. So give me Danny Hurley and UConn. It's going to be neck and neck though. Final week of the season, and my team number 1 is St. John's. They're gonna get it done late in the season. So that is my order. Give out your final 2, Mac.
At number 2, I did have the Johnnies. I think that they're right there to win the league. I think that they're going to take a big step up, better roster, better athleticism. Probably going to like him in the Garden for the tournament. Number 1, Kalkbrenner's back. Ashworth's back. Creighton wins the Big East. I like this roster. Even if Zugic is not there, I still love that Neal can slide right in. I'm high on the Blue Jays this year. They win the Big East regular season title.
Let's go. Bieniek, your final 2.
I'm not high on the Zugic replacement. That's why I have them finishing 5th if he's not eligible. I have UConn winning the Big East in the regular season. Not going to go against the Hurley train. I have Creighton 2nd. So yeah, UConn 1, Creighton 2.
All right, folks, that's our
Tournament
show.
winner.
I always forget this part.
I know. We forgot it a bunch last
year.
year.
The tournament winner is going to be, this is where Villanova.
I like it. That saved his job. You're creating the narrative.
Yep.
Rick Pitino and St. John's win it. They were right there to win it last year. They lost to UConn in a narrow one. Let's go. Give me the Johnnies.
Bieniek?
I think a fully healthy Xavier team with roles figured out wins the Big East tournament.
Ooh, I like that.
Love it. What, our biggest disappointment?
Yeah, disappointment and sleeper.
I had my disappointment as Providence. Sleeper, does it count
Based
to
off
say
of last
Villanova?
year's- Based off
UConn
last
at
year's
3,
standard.
a disappointment.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Sure.
Right?
We did the same thing last year, so we proved it last year.
What is the
We'll prove it
biggest
again.
jump? I think it's probably Georgetown for me. Give me Georgetown. I think that's a pretty big jump there. I had them 8th, and what were they last season? They were 10th.
I'll double
That's not
down.
that big of a jump, though. It's not.
Butler.
Yeah.
top-
I don't know. I'd have to actually look and say what would be. I think the biggest jump
Butler
I would
was
have.
9th. Georgetown was 10th.
So I think I'd have Butler because I had them 6, right? So
Yeah, Xavier was 8th for what it's worth. I don't know where you guys got Xavier.
Oh yeah, Xavier would be mine then. Xavier would
Where'd
be
they
mine.
finish?
So
Where
for
do
me,
you have? Yeah, where
I
do you have
had
them?
I had Xavier at 3rd.
Okay, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Because Xavier's my sleeper, and I have him 4th. So
Yeah, and disappointment would be Providence. How about you, Mac?
I guess UConn not finishing in the top 2 would be
That's pretty bold. It's pretty damn bold.
Let's go, UConn fans. Come on to the Big 12.
I'm disappointed in I forget the word, but it's not Shaheen Holloway's fault, but Seton Hall's the disappointment. This roster gives you nothing to be excited about.
Yep.
So 4th to
and
9th for me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that one too. Folks, that is our show. Remember that we got previews flying off the shelves over here. What's our schedule again? And we got every other conference coming.
Big 12
That's
Wednesday,
next,
Big
baby.
10.
Yeah.
Big 12 Wednesday. We're gonna have Rush and Troy joining in on a Wednesday show. That one's gonna begin at 9, and then Friday we're gonna talk the Big 10 at 11. So 6 p.m. Pacific for Big 12 Wednesday, and then 8 p.m. Pacific Big 10 Friday.
Let's
5
fucking
a.m. to
go.
the Big 10 on Friday with all the
We are 18 teams. Just stupid. Everything about it is stupid.
Big 12's got
folks,
16. I don't know what you're talking
that's
about. What kind
stupid
of shit
too.
you're
Big 10 is
spewing.
worse though.
At least our teams are
Yeah.
good. Your teams aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, our teams are not going to be at the elite of the elite this year, and it's a gigantic mess. 1 through 16.
Folks, that's our show. All right, give Noah Bieniek a follow on Twitter. What the hell is your new Twitter feed again?
Noah B77
God damn it, man! This is the problem with the youth. They switched their Twitter feed, so I've been plugging the wrong Twitter feed for like 6 months. All right, Noah B. What was it again?
77 _
77.
There you go. Noah B 77 _
If you just put in Noah B on the Twitter machine, I'll pop up because
Yeah.
I'm that big. You know. Go
Until next week when he changes Noah B, he's gonna switch it all up. Anyway, Moneyline Max on Twitter at Moneyline_Mac. I'm on Twitter at the Colby D. The college basketball experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. We're less than 30 days away from the season, folks. Get on over there. Also check out the college football experience, the FCS college football experience, and the college baseball experience, folks. And I think the Stadium Heads podcast. Check all that stuff out. Sports gambling podcast, bottom line bombs, all that good stuff. Till next time, this is the college basketball experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Yeah.
It's got me thinking about the good shit the minute that I seen your grill again. It made me good trip, good dog the mind back like dog will wind there. Man, I didn't get mad when you near me hit the can back, but the comings on was strong. Now my shit's coming along, you know the song. The truth is I'm pretty much on fire again. It's heating up for real, I'm alive again. And that's the attraction factor. Vancouver, Michigan with my rap disaster. Yeah, you know you want it, how you want it. No need to trip, cause I got it, doggone it. It's all yours and the extras too. All the super music and the sex for hope. Just get it straight, cause you caught me in a good mood. Let me demonstrate what this time of year could do. Sing it.